Hey guys, welcome back to Minecraft. What did I do last time? It's been like a day or it's been like a day since I last recorded. Uh, I was gonna record this way earlier, but I got busy. I think I remember what I was gonna do though. I'm gonna let that do what it needs to do. Actually, I gotta wait. I gotta wait because I need food. Fuck. All right. I watched the Devil May Cry. I finished watching the whole thing, and I have like thoughts about it. I know how this is coming out of like left field, um, but I it's so hard to like this show. I try to get it at a standpoint of let's not view it as an adaptation. Let's view it as just a show in its own right. But even as just a normal show, it's not that great. At least to me, it's not that great. A lot of people seem to enjoy it, and it has like a season 3 coming along. So good for them that they like it. For me, there's so many problems with it that it's very hard to not see them, right? A lot of it just not even on like a because it's obvious. I think maybe at least to me and people who've played the Devil May Cry games that it's not really that great of a remake, right? But let me actually put that there. Can I make armor with this? Do I have enough? I don't know yet. Uh, but it's obvious, like to me and those who really like DMC, that it's not really that good of an adaptation, right? The characters have all been kind of butchered, pretty more or less, right? Virgil in this show is pretty much that, like, I wouldn't say antithesis to what he was in the games, but there's a lot missing from his character, right? He still has like that kind of pride that he has in the games, but there's no there's not really a whole lot of arrogance that comes with it or anything like that, and he gets a lot more involved than if you play the games and you think he normally would, right? I get that you're trying to like make you're trying to make this really I'm sorry, I'm looking at the sunset. I can't not look at the sunset. um but I know you're trying to get like a story out of this, and you want to use every character as much as you can. But I feel like so much can be at a detriment, especially if you don't know what you're doing with the character, which like, it didn't really seem like they knew what they were doing with Virgil, right? Like Virgil's character to me seemed a whole lot like Sasuke, and like he has the same kind of, not like that he's exactly like Sasuke, but he has the same kind of what's it called, like I'd give him the same critiques that I give Sasuke, right? About like his decision making and everything like that. Like a whole lot of it is really off and really doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? Not in the same way that like Sasuke does to an extent, right? The flip flopping is kind of weird, right? But it feels. It doesn't feel right, right? It's just something about the character that feels so off, and the just what he does in the show, it's just not that great. And then there's like little stuff like the power scaling being kind of inconsistent, right? But the big part to me is the characters and just like the writing in general, right? I think the dialogue in this season is a whole lot better than it was last season, at the very least for Lady, right? I feel like we get to see a little more of Dante's character, but just the way the show lays it out, it's not that great, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if someone just missed all that kind of stuff, because I don't know, just a whole lot of it is really weirdly put together, right? The whole thing, the whole structure of it could have been better. It could have been like 10 times better if they struck if they put things in different places, right? Like I think episode 2 or episode 3, that should have been episode 1, right? Where you see Dante, and this is going to be a little bit of spoilers. When you see Dante in the cryo, like cryostasis, right? And he's having kind of like PTSD kind of nightmares, right? I think that should have been what you lead on, right? Instead of just, and I get that it's like a good transition, but you should have led on that instead of just like the war on hell and everything like that. I feel like that is weirdly, it's a really weird place to put that, right? I feel like if you introduced like the main guy and you had him do his bit first, I feel like that would have gone, at least for me, a lot smoother. Um, and it would have been as jarring as, it was, because you had the first episode being like the invasion to hell and stuff, right? And then you have this next episode where, you get Dante, right? For the first time in the season. And, he has that moment, right? And but it then it transitions into this whole thing where it like he's describing to one of like the therapists or something like that, like the psycho analysts over at over at like Darkcom or whatever, trying to explain to them what happened when he woke up with Lady and everything like that. And it's like this super unserious kind of scene. Same thing with what Lady does the exact same thing, right? And it comes off as super unserious and super goofy. And normally, like if this was like episode one, I would be completely fine with it. I would be okay with it because it's not like you're leading in with that, and then now you're going slowly more into the darker kind of themes. That's that's what would be good to me, right? I think that would be much more enjoyable. um but just leading in with something like just so brutal, right, as like what happens in like the war and the demons being like held captive. I keep on forgetting alt isn't crouch. uh like the demons being held captive in their own like world and stuff, and like being enslaved and shit, right? And then for like episode 2 to lead in like that, I feel like is kind of, it's pretty jarring to me, right? It's not it's not the greatest way to hook someone in, at least just to me, right? Because obviously a lot of people like it, just I'm not one of them. Right? uh, and yeah, that part is just, for me, is really weird. The music, I think I might have touched on this yesterday, maybe when I recorded. I'm not super sure. But the music choices, I really wish they didn't use so much licensed music, right? I feel like it's okay to a point, but if it's in every single episode, that is kind of crazy. Like that's really crazy to me, because you want how did that hit me? I was blocking. Hello, there we go. Because you really want some sort of licensed music to be like an emphasis, pretty much, right? You don't want it to be, eh. You don't want it to be kind of just like stale, or just to be there as background noise, right? Because then it's just like, why do you have it in the first place? Why didn't you just like have just an original soundtrack, right? At least that's how I feel about it. Because when you don't have that, when you just have it for just, ow, what the, oh, it's like, where else am I getting hit? Huh? Got him. Is there more? Yes, there is. From where? From over there. Okay, cool. Oh, wow, trying to talk about this and focus on not dying is really hard. ah, but for like the music and stuff, it's just better to have at least, like if you're gonna use licensed music, use some of the Devil May Cry tracks or like something like that. I feel like that, like the actual original game soundtrack. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm live. Oh, wow, there's so many of you. God. But I feel like if you did that, it would be a lot more just easier to lean into that, right? And a lot more understanding, like understandable, not understanding. I would be a lot more understanding if they did that and was like, let's not make an actual soundtrack for the show. I would understand that 100%, right? Even if they use like some other things, right? Like Virgil's theme from Marvel vs. Capcom 3, right? I really love that theme. If they use that for like one of the fight scenes, that would be pretty good to me. I would be okay with that. I would be completely fine with that. But, it's not, that's just not what happens, right? And, where they fight in, what's it called? In Washington, D.C., right? That kind of, like, where the music hit there, I was fine with that. And that's mostly because it kind of fit. It was like where it was supposed to be, whereas everything else was not really where I feel like it was supposed to be, or it was just super drawn out, right? So let's cut this a little. I just want to move the water just a little bit. There we go. Okay, gonna have to do that a little more. Pickaxe. There we go. Oh, water. Water, please. Water, please. This way. Okay. I really wanted to move, but it's fine. It's fine. But what was I saying? I think I was just talking about the music for like a minute straight. But Washington D.C. that was fine because it fit where it was supposed to fit, right? I feel like I'm gonna be repeating myself a couple times. Oh, fuck. But I liked that part, but everything else was just kind of like misplaced. At least in my opinion, it was just not the right places to put these things. It's just, to me, it's just, I don't know. A lot of it was just odd. It was just not right. And oh, why am I mining with that one? There we go. Oh my god. Oh, fuck. God, I hate creepers. There's a lot of diamonds here. Okay. There's nothing around me. Making sure. Sometimes these go really bad. Wow, that's a lot of diamonds. Jesus. Hey, there we go. Okay, cool. I got 5 things of diamond. I think I can make a diamond pickaxe with this now. Yeah, let's head back up and put this back. But yeah, just the whole thing with Devil May Cry, just like the Netflix one, it just for me, it just doesn't. It really doesn't hit. And that's fine. I think. Just for me, I just feel kind of disappointed, right? Because when the show first came out, I was like really excited. I was like, okay, whoa, look, we're having a new Devil May Cry anime. That sounds pretty cool. And it's from the guy who made Castlevania, even though he wasn't really the guy who wrote it. But fuck, running. Oh my god, I'm so low. God, don't kill me, please. Oh, I'm focused. Please, please make it up. Please, which way is up? This way is up. This way. This way. This way. This way. This way. Cool. 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 I think the sun is setting. I gotta hurry up home and I need food. Holy. But yeah, another thing. Well, I'm just gonna be talking about this. It's just been on my mind so much. But another thing about it is like the vice president. Man, like they were like hyping him up to be like the next villain, and then in this season he just really doesn't do anything, right? And then what was his name? The villain from Devil May Cry 2, right? He's now the main antagonist, and apparently he's like the guy who's in charge of Darkholm, which doesn't really make sense. Like that kind of came out of nowhere. Uh, but I guess that's what he does. He's the main guy. He's the guy who founded it. But that's like another thing where it's like, okay, this is not that. Like you could have made Ouroboros its own thing, right? Or made it so Ouroboros is just another side of Darkholm. I think that would have been much more interesting, right? For that just to be another side of Darkholm, and then just being like, oh, he's head of that branch, and the vice president is the head of the main branch. But just to have him like be like the head dude, and we'd never seen him in season 1, and like we've never seen him until now, never heard of him, no mentions, nothing like that until like the end of the season. And even then it was just showing it was just showing, what's it called? Fuck. It was just showing him in front of an Ouroboros station, right? it didn't show like Darkcom or anything like that, right? It kind of teased to, oh, okay, these two are gonna be working together, right? But nothing more, not to the point to where it's like, oh, he's the guy who made Darkcom, not the vice president. That's for me, that's really weird. And his whole back, like his whole reasoning for what he's like, what he did, and everything like that is it's so lame. I feel like, right? Like fuck, it's like he's not bad. Like he's better than the vice president was like as a villain. I feel like that like was kind of a good call, right? Because the vice president didn't really feel that. Like I feel like that would have been kind of lazy to put the vice president as the thing. And it would be a lot more contradictory and the whole thing, mostly because of Lady, right? I think that would be like weird because of Lady. Even then, that's like a whole other thing. But I feel like he would be like he was a better person for that role. But his backstory and stuff, it's just so lame. It's just so lame. And this is not to say he's even like that great of at least in my eyes, he's not really that great of a villain. Mostly because like I don't think it's that hard to trick the president or like to have the president working for you and to do the things you do in this like DMC universe, right? It doesn't feel that way at all. It doesn't feel like it's something that's like really hard at all. Because everyone in it is kind of dumb. I'm not gonna lie, right? Lady is pretty friggin' stupid from jump, right? She's kind of less stupid in this season, but still really stupid, right? She had the option to just leave Darkcom in the first episode, and she didn't take it. Uh, which already bad, right? Bad idea. She should have left. Uh, but she, what's it called? But everyone else, like Dante being pretty stupid, Virgil being like really stupid. That's what kind of had me most surprised, right? Because even though Virgil's not the smartest character in the games, he's at least a whole lot more cunning than like more or less everyone else, right? I say more or less because he did get duped by fucking. Uh, he he got played a lot of times, right? He has ideas and then they get thwarted, right? Or he gets used for someone's other idea. Uh, but at least he has like the brains to do things, right? He has the brains. He has the he makes mostly kind of the right calls for his plans. I say mostly because sometimes things get in the way for him. Uh, Mainly his freaking craze for power, Dante, and yeah, that's pretty much it, right? That's pretty much why he loses kind of every time, right? He 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 gives in to his own cravings, and he like kind of like Dante gets in his way, right? Or it'll be something like a Mundus, but like in the not in the anime, in the games, right? With him getting brainwashed, going in like way too deep, right? Uh, but I feel like that is a lot more of like if he was more like that in this anime, I would have been more than fine with him, right? Because him like if he was planning to betray Mundus the whole time, I would have liked him a whole lot more because that is like a lot more in line with his character, and I feel like that just makes more sense than just him like sucking up to him, right? Even when Mundus is like making like just like talking mad crazy about his mom, like that's wild, right? Just saying, oh yeah, mother was weak. Like what the hell, dude? That's so weird to me. That's a lot of it is just so weird. And this is just like Virgil's stuff, right? And then Dante, like he gets a lot more shine, I feel like, in the season, but he's still kind of used to put to push the plot going, right? Same thing, and I feel like it's more evenly separated between Lady and Virgil as well. I feel like they're also now kind of like that. Uh, because like one, they don't even get to defeat any of like the big bads in this. They usually need help from someone else to. What is that? Oh, that's the fish. I was like, what the fuck is that? A dolphin? No, 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 no. That's just a fish. Um, but they need like they usually need help from someone like stronger than them for like help with like their like the big villains, the end game villains of the season. Which like I get it, right? It's an easy way out of it, but oh my god, like just give them the chance to do their own thing, Jesus, and stop making it so like they're kind of flip flopping on what they can and can't do, right? And then like another thing is like the designs, right? Which like I don't really have that much to say except for like the 3D models. I'm not really a big fan of the 3D models that much, and I don't really like Virgil's Devil Trigger because it just looks the same as Dante's but blue, right? There's not really a whole lot like there's not a whole lot of difference between the two, right? And what is that blue over there? What is that? Is this water? Okay. Oh, there's more lapis over here. Okay, cool. So like, is that like what the fuck is that? Uh, anyway, as I was saying, he like that. Uh, uh, uh. But in the games, he looks similar to Dante's Devil Trigger. His Devil Trigger looks similar to Dante's Devil Trigger, but they're not the same, right? They have key differences in both Devil Triggers, right? And Dante's Devil Trigger changes from like depending on which weapon he's using. At least in Devil May Cry 3. And 4 and 5, it's kind of it grows, right? It's way different in that aspect. And then both Sin Devil Triggers kind of look similar, right? But again, they have their differences. But in the anime, it's basically just the same thing but blue and I don't know, maybe like longer horns, I think. I think that's what it was. Uh, but they look pretty much exactly the same. I feel that just kind of made me disappointed. I was like, okay, that was just kind of lazy. You guys could have done a lot more with that. You didn't just have to make it Dante but blue, right? Just a whole lot about the show is just lacking, and that is really disappointing. I feel like it's a little better than the first. Holy shit, that boy was right there. Um, I feel like it's a lot better than the first season, right? Or at least a little better, just like in terms of dialogue, right? The dialogue was like way better, but everything else was just like not great. It's not that good to me at least. And to a lot of people it is. Just to me I can't. And I'm gonna try to watch the third season and hopefully it gets even better in the third season. Hopefully we get like a Trish in the third season or something like that. Right? I feel like that would be cool. Oh, another thing, fuck. I don't know how I didn't like oh damn, that goes deep. I don't know how I didn't like remember this. But like another thing, why have the guy from Devil May Cry 2, the big villain, without I forgot her name. Wow, I'm forgetting her name. Fuck. What was her name? Fuck, I'm really forgetting her name. Damn it. But you know the lead girl from Devil May Cry. Why didn't you have her? You had her teased in the first season. Why didn't you just bring her back up? Right? It's like why? 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 Why didn't you do it like that? That would have been so. I feel like that would have elevated at least a little bit more, right? Because now you get two new characters, right? At least on. Well, I mean, Virgil's kind of in the middle, right? But at least you get like a new character to help. What's it called? Like Dante and Lady, or just Dante, right? I feel like that would have been so. Like that would have been easy. Like you would have been able to do that because she exists, right? You could have had her. Fuck, that is such a missed opportunity. I don't know why they didn't take it. Did I take my boat all the way over there? I might have. Oh yeah, I did. It's right there. I'll get it later. I'll get it later. Um, but it's just such a missed opportunity. They really could have just gone like they could have done so many better things with this. They really could have, and it's just a lot of it disappointing. And then I think another thing. Wow, I'm really yapping about this. I think this is just going to be the whole video. Uh, Another thing is Dante and Lady and them kissing and maybe having sex, which I don't I wouldn't care about that much if this was like kind of the game's Dante and Lady, right? If they acted like they did in the games, right? Or if they got that level of like respect for each other, but it feels unearned. Like a lot of it doesn't feel right, especially more on Lady really doesn't deserve all that, doesn't deserve to be forgiven immediately for the first part. But she like why would that happen so fast? Especially after Lady basically backstabbed him every chance she got, more or less, except for the battle with the fucking white rabbit, right? She basically backstabbed him basically like the whole time, right? There wasn't really like from beginning to end, he was backstabbed by her, and this is like another thing where I don't think they really got Dante's characterization all the way, right? Because sure, Dante is a lot more forgiving, right? He's a forgiving kind of person, but he's not gonna immediate be like, "Oh wow, yeah. She hit me and she blew up my neck and everything like that." And but you know, we just do that, right? He would more be like he doesn't really make it a point to girls that shoot him in the head or some shit like that. He would probably say something more like that, right? And then slowly grow to be like okay with her, right? And that's basically what happened in Devil May Cry 3. It wasn't like he immediately freaking like liked her, right? After he like she shot him in the head. That's not how that happened. He was like he really didn't like that she did that. And he only fought with her because, they're both having to deal with the same, and then not the same thing, but they're both having to deal with like hordes of demons, right? And then after that, right, he gets to understand her a lot more and comes to like her a whole lot more, and vice versa, right? And that's what makes their whole like, I wouldn't say like duality. I don't know if that's the best way to put it, but that's what makes their whole like relationship really good, right? And that's why, like with them, if they ended up being together in like the games, I would like it a whole lot more because it's a lot. It's like earned, like 100% earned, right? But here, it's really not. It feels rushed, right? It feels like it's coming out of nowhere for most of it. Oh, fuck. Going up. But yeah, it just feels so unearned, especially on Lady's side, right? It doesn't feel like they really went through anything together, because they really didn't. Like they went through the what's it called, the White Rabbit, but they really after that it wasn't that much. That was basically it. It was her hunting him, and then the White Rabbit came, and then I guess they like each other now, right? Or I mean, well, there's more to that after because season two, but that's kind of what it feels like. There wasn't a whole lot of them coming to understand each other, them coming to terms with whatever they're facing, right? I feel like if they wanted to do that, they should do that in the third season, right? Where I think, like, this is another stupid thing with it. They bring back her dad, which never should have been killed off in the first place, right? I don't know why you would allude to him being killed off in the first season, right? To just not to just use him again. Like you should have. This is what I'm saying. Like I don't know if I said this in a video before, but the vice president should have been Arkham. He shouldn't have been a different character. That should have been Lady's dad, that would have made her actions make 10 times more sense, right, than what it is. And the reason I say that is just because that adds a whole that adds a whole other layer of depth that isn't present in the show or in their relationship, right? At least, or in what's it called? I mean, in the relationship of Lady and the Vice President. That adds a whole other layer of depth. That makes it so, hey, this is what your dad is like, and then her finding that out and wanting to leave Darkholm after that, and being like, holy shit, my dad did all of this. That would be 10 times better than what we got. Right? That would have been so good, right? That I just for me, that's just way better. That's just way better to me. Like, even then, it would still be kind of confusing, but at least you have something that's a little compelling for her as a character instead of 3 seasons in and now she's getting something that's a little bit compelling, right? I feel like that should have been the build-up. Just the vice president being her dad, leading up to these kinds of things, like to this, and then her finding out, and then being like, holy fuck, my dad's been doing all of this, and then her coming, her trying to come to terms with that, and her struggling to do that. Like, if you wanted to do that, that would have been way perfect. That would have been so good, and that's basically what she has to deal with in Devil May Cry 3. But I feel like just an expanded version of that would make her character 20 times better than it is. Ooh, that's a village over there. Ooh, great. I can get food. I can get food. I can get food. I can get food. And then is there a cave down here? No, it's just a little hole. It's just a little hole. But I really feel like they could have made Lady's character 20 like so much better doing that. Um, Virgil's character, I feel like just in general, either they know that they're both still alive or they don't. And I feel like Virgil knew, and I wish he didn't know. That's what I feel like. I feel like that would give him a whole other like internal struggle working for Mundus. And I kind of wish he was brainwashed. I don't mind him working for Mundus as long as he has some sort of reason other than, oh, he picked me up after, he found like my killers and made me kill him or some shit like that, right? I feel like I think it would be 20 times better if it was just like, oh, he either got brainwashed or he was like, hey, let's make a deal. I can give you the power you want if you work for me, right? I feel like that would work a whole lot better than what we were given. Food. Good old bread, hello. But, unfortunately, we got what we got. And for me, like the biggest reason why I don't like the show, like the biggest reason is because it can do so much better. There's so many good ideas within the franchise that you could use that you could make this like a 10 out of 10 thing, right? But it's not. It's mostly whatever Addy is feeling on that certain day, whatever he feels is best for like expressing himself, I guess, which isn't a bad thing. To me, it's not. But you have to make your own show to do that. You have to make your own thing, your own original characters. You can't grab someone else's characters and then just turn them into whatever you like, right? I think that's just so weird. Like, I understand it if you're doing that, but also keeping the core of the character the same, like putting them through different situations, right? Situations maybe you've lived through, but also having the core of them be as it is, right? I feel like that would work, right? I think that worked in Castlevania, right? Though I mean, it wasn't really experience that they went through. It was just uh, more like an expanded version of what it was. But even then, I feel that that was handled way better in Castlevania. And also that has to do because there's a different writer. Uh, and so there's that aspect to it, but it's just so much of it is like really disappointing to me. I really really don't like how disappointing the show is, at least to me. Uh, Other people like it, mostly people who haven't really played the games, haven't really interacted with it, like it a lot, and I'm fine with that. But even outside of the games, to me, it's just not that good. It's really just not that great. It could be a whole lot better, but I think that that takes a lot more effort than Addy, I guess, is willing to put in, right? Or a lot more, not a lot more, I wouldn't say effort, but it takes a lot more forethought. That's the better word. It takes a lot more forethought than Eddie is willing to put it, right? Because I feel like it's very, it's like kind of the same issue I have with Vivzy Pop and her things, right? Except she does it better. Uh, it feels more like not reactionary. Fuck, what was it called? Maybe it is reactionary. But basically just writing that comes up where you do a thing and then you just do a thing immediately after that and then immediately after that to keep the plot going, but not really having a certain structure or a certain endpoint of where you want the thing to go, right? Isn't it right? But you went in bed. It's nighttime, right? What? Okay, this is some bullshit. This is some bullshit. Let me in. Okay, cool. But yeah, Pop does that like 20 times better, right? And maybe that's because he's just the better writer. In terms of like dialogue, and I'd say in terms of dialogue, even still, she's pretty. She's a little better than Adios, I think. Uh, but even then, I feel like just it's to me, it's just so weird. Just being able to compare those two and then be like, hey, this lady who does like animatics on like animations on the internet, right, and blew up through that is better than someone who's been in the industry for fucking over 10 years, right? Which is crazy. Just that part is a little crazy to me, and I feel like if I really put in effort or actually got like really good writers, because I think he's writing with one other writer, and I don't think that's really enough to make the show great, right? But he's writing with someone else, and it's okay. It's not something that's like so horrible, but it's not good. It's just not that great. And I really like my biggest thing is I just wish it was, and that's why I'm so disappointed with it because I was really hoping for this to be really good, and it really isn't, right? I'm not talking about like the sexies. I'm talking about just in general. I was really hoping that this would be good, and just disappointment, big disappointment. Sadly enough. What, yeah, and yeah, that's gonna be the entire video because I've been yapping about DMC for 40 minutes straight. Holy fuck. Okay, if you liked it, like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.